Welcome to Corporate News. I'm here with Mainframe, aka Cheryl, who is going to help us recap last week's session, and then we are going to talk about the ever-exciting metagame that surrounds Shadowrun Corporate Sins.
So, I understand I'm not supposed to listen to those things, so we'll get this summary thing out of the way first.
I think that's a good plan.
Well, last week we rejoined the party, and we were magically restrained and at sniper bullet point, a gun point thing. We were sort of suspended up off the ground. We couldn't control ourselves, and we were about to be shot. And Venus, she was just standing up at the top of the buildings in the alley near the Rapid Rabbit, like Galadriel on a power trip. She was just like
looming.
Looming. I think there was cackling, if I remember. It was very traumatic. But so we were. It was pretty shitty, and I don't want to brag, but I was the first member of the party to break free from the magical shenanigans. I did take a few bullets, and we all took a few bullets, and Mordecai managed to summon Mega Sharky. He was more sharky than sharky. Like there was additional bling from the ocean. It was yes.
There was the eel being thrown.
Yeah,
and stuff.
It was very epic. It scared Venus away, which was good. And then he got shot, and Mega Sharky disappeared. So then that was bad because Mordecai was dying, Elsie was dying. I was on the edge of also dying myself. And but I noticed a little thing in my comm link that the dock wagon had been called already, which is weird. That's not supposed to happen until you're like unconscious.
Yeah.
But then medical assistant shows up and scares away the rest of the folks in the alley, and so instead of dying, we are indentured servants for a little while,
which is awfully convenient.
It was. I have to say, I'm glad we're not dead, but I did not feel very good in that moment. It felt manipulative. Miss J, it's fine. I mean, she probably didn't put Venus up to it, but it was very convenient for her and her employer that they did not have to pay us the 15,000 new yen we would do. And now we have to go on this second free run to pay for the additional medical expenses of those of us who sort of almost died. So, we met with Miss J about the second run. We satisfactorily completed the first run. That was completed. Clearly, Venus's an angry response indicates we were successful in blowing up that lodge. But, so we got the information about this second run, which is reconnaissance and kidnapping, which are obviously our strengths. So this is going to be fine. And, we might have spied on Cromwell a little bit. He might have asked Miss J to do some, look for his friend Pip. And Mordecai is not feeling good about Shadowrunning. He's feeling a little self-conscious about the almost dying, so he's been threatening to leave the group.
Well, he's been saying this is his last run for a while now, it seems like. Each run that you've gone on has been his last run, I think he's been saying.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna go. I mean, all we can do is give him a supportive working environment and see what happens.
That's all you can do, really.
And so I thought that one way to create a supportive working environment would be to create a social bonding situation, as it were. Mm-hmm. And so I encouraged everyone to attend a sleepover at my place. As I've seen on many of my favorite 90s trips, this is a way that people bond. We had popcorn. I made quizzes. They were not so enthusiastic about the participation. I have to say I was disappointed. Cromwell, he drank. Props to Cromwell, but everybody else was Mordecai wouldn't even take the quiz about spirit animals because he says his is a shark, and we understand. I asked him to take it as a set. Anyway, I wish they had tried harder, but we planned a reconnaissance run where Elsie would take Fang into what was the name of that place? The Applied Technologies, CAT Technologies, the place. So we go to this corporation. It's a single A. It's not a triple A. And we send Elsie in as Fang's doctor because this corporation specializes in biotech and cybernetic parts, of course, of which she is mostly constructed at this point.
At this point, yeah.
Yes. Fang was instructed not to speak. That did not go according to plan. They cross-applied technologies. Thank you. I have enough to worry about. These single A corporations. You can't be expected to track every single one of them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if they
it's hard enough to track.
Get their act together before I really.
AAA Corps.
Yeah, AAA Corps. That's fine. We know those folks. So. It might have been an almost altercation with the security guards. Fang, she took a weapon in. Elsie's trying to sweet talk the receptionist. She's very good with receptionists in general. It's just a strange specialization. But in the end, they could not get in to an appointment with our target. And they had to leave. They were able to retrieve Fang's gun, but they sort of had to retreat in haste. And so there we are. We still don't have any information about our targets. And so we try a second run. We leave. Fang stayed in the vehicle. And 4 of us went in. Maybe not the stealthiest thing in the world, but 4 of us went in. Elsie went in.
Stealth, I have to say, overall, not necessarily MFAC's strong suit.
The fact that you know who MFAC is indicates that we are not terribly good at stealth, right? Is that because you have not been on these runs with us?
That's true.
And here we are. So, we split up. Elsie starts trying to sweet talk the receptionist again. She had palmed a key card, which I duplicated, which allowed me to get in masquerading as an IT employee with like a hoodie and stuff. Mordecai cast some disguise spells on us. He also cast those spells on himself and Cromwell. So if you can picture 3 of us skulking through the hallways of Cross-Applied Technologies wearing like black hoodies and, you know, various like binary t-shirts and stuff. I could not the stealthiest in the world, but managed to convince a nice young lady that I would help her machine. I would fix some problems. Yeah. And so it turns out she worked for HR.
Social engineering.
Yeah, social engineering, told her to get some coffee, and was able to obtain some important files from Cross-Applied Technologies regarding the security layout, the layout of the business, and the employee that we are targeting. So that was a rousing success. Meanwhile, and this is only, I was not around for this, I overheard this on the comm. Elsie got to trying to talk to the receptionist again, but she was recognized, which is awkward because she was masquerading as a second person, so that was just straight up awkward. So Elsie got to doing the boyfriend thing and the crying and stuff, lures the receptionist into the bathroom, and Taser slaps her somehow.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, just knocks her unconscious, steals her clothing, and leaves her in a bathroom stall with some makeup, which is like some sort of gift. It's interesting. We should be careful not to upset Elsie with that taser glove. That thing packs a punch. So, meanwhile, we are trying to sneak out, and strangely enough, a troll wearing a hoodie attracted some attention from security, but it's fine. I sweet talked the guard, you know, we had some sexy talk about salad, and we managed to get out of the building. Yeah, it's the salad bar. I mean, a lot of office romances happen near the salad bar. You know, a gentleman trying to watch his weight, a lady trying to watch her weight, or whatever, or maybe they just like leaves. I mean, it's nice to have salad. We mostly eat soy products of some form. Soy lettuce is disgusting, but you know, in corpse, sometimes you get real plants and stuff. So we de-escalated that situation. We were able to extract ourselves, and so that's where we find ourselves at the end of our last mission. Was we have information that will allow us to do a nighttime extraction run, but we really desperately need the cover of night because all of our disguises have failed at some point. And just doing that shit in the daytime ain't gonna work out. So,
well, there's a reason they call it Shadowrunning, really, and shadows are better.
Shadows
at night.
are helpful. It is true. Shadows are very helpful. They are just, you wouldn't want day running. That would just, well, I mean, people do that, but that's mostly for sweat. That's not for doing anything useful necessarily. So that's what happened in a nutshell last time.
Does anybody have any quick questions about what happened last week? We're gonna dive into the Corp metagame explanation momentarily, but if anybody's got quick questions for Mainframe, then feel free to toss them into chat right now. What's the year for corporate sins? I believe it is 2075.
Yes.
2075. There's a question for Peter Winther, who's apparently in chat.
Peter Winther's in chat. I thought, all right, that's, yeah, he's...
Interesting choice of username.
Yeah.
When
you
will
still
you
wearing
learn...
your fur coats, Peter? You were a little overdressed for the blast from the past. I mean, it's fine. I appreciate your sense of style, but...
When will you all learn how to sneak? I think...
So, here's the thing.
Eventually.
What we as Team MFEC have not yet embraced is the more people sneaking, the more likely someone's gonna step on a stick or something. You know, we did not need 3 sneaky IT people. You know, maybe one person backing me up, maybe, but I know Cromwell didn't want to be excluded, but we really did not need a troll IT guy. We just did not. It's fact. So it's a good question, Alien Knitter. When are we going to learn how to sneak? I don't know. Hopefully soon, because the entire success of the mission depends on sneaking. I do not plan on blowing this company up. I would prefer not to do it. Breaking some devices, fine, but we are not going to build a reputation for dry work unless we stop blowing things up.
Historically speaking, though, MFEC is good at blowing things up. That is something that I believe the team of runners has proven to be quite capable at doing, is blowing things up.
We only blew up the one thing. Well, no, the 2 things. You're right. We did the 2 separate locations, and the one was a residence, which still feel conflicted about.
There was some damage to the other place, too.
So, Bob the Ninja Goldfish, we've had this conversation on Twitter, Bob. I hear you. Team MFEC, I mean, it sounds like I've got a hairball when I say it. It's not a good name for a group. But you've not been trapped in a van with Fang. Like, she sings it. Like, she sings about MFEC. Like, it's like it's the engine keeping her going. I mean, if you were in the van and you're able to shut her up, then I applaud you. But I don't want her to, choke me. Those arms are they're very intimidating.
It's a very intimidating van ride, yeah.
So, yeah, Feckham, yeah, I kind of like that one too, but yeah, see, Negihama, yes, I posted about that on Twitter. I think I felt like it's possible that Fang was inspired by those Hanson folks from the 1990s, right? Because it does sound suspiciously like Mbop. I pointed that out on Twitter, and if you've never heard of that Mbop thing, I dug up one of those trade videos and I linked it on my Twitter, so you can go check that out.
So make sure you're following the entire team of runners that is on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, if you're interested in our conversations, I don't know why you would be, but there's a lot of very self-conscious dwarf talk, and there's a lot of very unintelligible butler Cockney stuff, and then there's some occasionally intelligent stuff, and Elsie, she draws a horse every once in a while.
A horse.
So, compelling stuff. You should follow us, I guess, if that's the thing you do.
A good question. What are the powers of Fang's Wolfblade?
0. I think the powers of her Wolfblade are 0.
So the powers of Fang's Wolfblade are entirely imaginary. They are imaginary powers.
You've never seen Fang's face when you tell her that things are not the way that she sees them. It's like you're kicking a puppy. a puppy with very sharp fang and an arm that could like just crush you in one go. And so our magical expert does not believe there is anything magical about that weapon, but in her head there is. So I don't know. Have you ever heard of the placebo effect? Maybe it's like a placebo weapon that makes us stronger or something. I don't know.
It's a possibility.
But magic powers there are not.
All right. Well, I know you need to start getting ready for your next run. Thank you for updating us on the previous week's episodes. We really appreciate that.
Good luck with your corporation-y
Thank you,
exploits.
and good luck on your run.
We're gonna need it. We always do.
Okay, so I want to say up front, this is still, well, a couple of things up front. This is still very, very much a work in progress. We are bringing to you what is the equivalent of an early access game that is unlike anything that has been done on Twitch before. So feel free, if you have questions, I will try and answer them, but chances are I won't be able to until the end of my my monologue about the excitement that is the Shadowrun Corporate Sins metagame. And so, without further ado, each corporation, you know a little bit already, each corporation is fueled by subscribers and by gratuities posted with the hashtag of that particular corporation, and they're very, very specific. It has to be that hashtag, at least for now. So with those subscriptions, and that's if you want entry level, all you want to do is get to say, hey, I contributed, then all you have to do is subscribe and choose a corporation by joining our Discord server. You do have to be a member of the Discord server for your subscription to count towards the metagame. And the moderators are happy to walk you through the process of joining the Discord server. So after you do that, you get to choose a corporation that you want to represent and you want to fight for, but choose well and think about your choice, because it will be very, very difficult for you to choose a different one later on. But these subscriptions and these gratuities put into the name of your corporations with the hashtag Neonet or the hashtag Shaiwase, and I'm sure that I just brutalized that pronunciation, but it was there in chat. Or Evo, for example. Hashtag Evo would be that one. Personally, I like Neonet, but I'm not allowed to say that after today because I am the GM of the metagame. I will be the one running the show, so I think it would possibly be considered unfair for me to continue to support a corporation myself. That said, Neonet's cool. Anyway, so each corporation gets their points based on how many subscribers they have committed in the Discord and the total amount, dollar amount of gratuities that have come in over the course of the round, we'll call it. And a round is going to be either a week or 2 weeks, depending on how long the Shadowrunners are in their particular run for whatever corporation or Johnson they are on their run for. At the end of that is when a new round begins, and corps get more action points. Now, action points, there are a set number that go out every week. Every week, 100 action points are distributed amongst the corporations, divided up based on the percentage that each corporation holds of total subscribers, of total gratuities put forward. So for example, we've got 10 corporations. If all 10 corporations get the exact same amount of gratuities and subscribers for a week, it's not going to happen. But if it did, they would each get 10 action points, and those action points can be spent in a variety of ways. And I'm not going to get into too much specifics on how those are spent because it does get quite complicated. And once you're in the Discord, the moderators can help walk you through some of the more intricate aspects of it. But a rough overview for you all to do is each corporation, let me back up a little bit, each corporation also controls market segments, and those market segments are things like law enforcement, cybernetics, biotechnology, shipping and media outlets and things of that nature. So just like real world corporations, they've got their fingers in a variety of different industries. And these different industries will have different benefits and drawbacks going forward, but for now that's to be added in a little while. But with these market segments, you can spend your action points to attempt to do research in each of these and improve the value of your investment in them. So while you'll all start off with a level playing field, eventually certain corporations will start to get ahead in certain areas and other corporations will maybe fall behind in those competitions. So you can spend action points to attempt to increase these things with a small chance of failure and decreasing them. You can spend action points to attack other corporations, and you can spend action points to defend as well. So, for example, going through some of the list, the action points to increase a subsidiary market share, you can perform research and development, you can also improve your chances of that being successful, which is very important. You can attempt to steal another corporation's research and development if you think that they're doing something, or you could run a PR campaign. So, sorry. Yeah, okay. Sorry, something flagged in chat. Somebody mentioned me. Moving on. You can also attack other corporations in a variety of different ways. So you can take actions to decrease enemy subsidiary market shares by attacking one of their facilities or from the same market segment that you already own a market share in. So each corporation is going to have market shares in a handful of different markets. If you want to attack somebody within one of those markets, it has a different cost than from outside of those markets. It's more difficult, more expensive for you to attack outside of your own territory in a sense. And then you could also potentially frame another corporation for those attacks, or run a PR smear campaign. Just like you can run a public relations campaign to improve your own standing, you can run one to add a deficit to another corporation. And because you can attack other corporations, you can also defend from these attacks. You can do fake research and development. So if you think that somebody is going to attack you and try and steal your research, you can run fake research to bait them into doing that, to use up their action points. You can increase your defenses. You can spend action points to bolster your defenses if you think you are going to be attacked, but you're actually doing research you want to save. You can, increase your defenses. You can determine who attacked you last week by spending action points. And those are the main core actions that you can take, but there are also special actions apart from the market share developments that you can do, including a lottery to hire the runners. And this is a particularly interesting one that each corporation will be given the opportunity to enter into a lottery to hire the runners to do their next mission. So it's a lottery to find out what corporation is the one that is able to have our Shadowrunning team in the show that follows this to do the run for them. Whether that's going to be the most successful use of your action points or not, we'll see, but it'll certainly be entertaining. You can also spend more to increase your odds of winning that lottery. You can spend a lot of, it's not action points, you can actually spend real world money. You could do a fundraising campaign within your corporation to raise the money to buy a market segment from another corporation. So say Neonet has a market segment in matrix infrastructure that you really want. You could theoretically do week after week of attack against them to lower the value of their market segment so much that you could actually raise the real world money to purchase it from them. And when that happens, that the corporation that you were purchasing it from gets an amount of action points in relation to the amount of money that was spent. So they do gain something from that, and you gain their market segment. So it's up to you guys at what point it's worth it for you to do that, but it is a very, very interesting mechanic built into this game. You can also start a new subsidiary. So in that scenario, if Mitsuhama had purchased the Neonet's matrix infrastructure, but Neonet says, well, I really wanted that, we're going to have to start a new one, they could actually start a new market segment using a whole lot of action points. And then these things are all rolled by the cast at the end of next show. We're not able to do it this week, unfortunately. We tried really, really hard to be able to do the purchasing of this week, and we're just not able to do that, and I apologize for that. That falls back to this is very much a system that's in development. So next week will be the first week, I believe, that we will be rolling these numbers, that you will all be able to partake of the purchases. However, all of the donations, all of the gratuities, all of the tips thus far, and the subscribers that we currently have will be going forward, will carry forward to next week. And that's it. I'm pretty much out of time now. Your moderators have all of this information, and what they don't have, they will be able to move up to escalate to me so that I can answer their questions, they can answer your questions. But in short, join the Discord. I will talk more about this during corporate news again next week to prepare you further, but ask your moderators questions, join the Discord, choose a corporation, and most importantly, absolutely have fun. Enjoy this. It's going to be a very interesting thing. We're on the forefront of something new on Twitch, and I think that that's really exciting and really cool. So it is worth putting a little bit of time investment into figuring out how this game is going to work for you personally. That's all I've got for you today. Enjoy the show, It's going to be a good one. It always is. Thank you, guys.